We are now joined by the defending national champion head basketball coach in Scott Drew after the wins on the road, bouncing back with the win Saturday against Oklahoma and Kansas State tomorrow night at home at the Farrell Center. Scott, thank you very much for your time. Did James Akinjo, in a game in which he only scored a couple of points, did he actually, in the eyes of maybe Baylor faithful and your players, grow even more with his legacy because he just tried to play?
Try that again.
A lot of times people tell you, hey, if you're hurt, don't play because it's going to affect your stats, going to affect maybe your draft stock. And I can tell you every coach loves a player that wants to play for the team, wants to do everything he can to help the team, and doesn't care if he's not at 100% and if his minutes might be cut down or whatnot. They're just about the team. And I think James has shown that. And I know at the end of the day, that's really what matters. And I know he wants to play pro ball someday. And I can tell you every NBA GM and coach will appreciate that as well. And the great thing is if our trainers and doctors say someone can't go, we're not going to put them in harm's way. And if the coaches don't think that they can be a positive influence for the team, we're not going to put them in that situation either. So, again, thanks for asking the question. And James definitely a huge basket in which he got fouled, or when he fell on his tailbone again. Real critical. They stopped a 12-1 run and helped us reestablish things.
What have you learned about this particular team in the last couple of weeks where you have two losses in a row and you kind of have to readjust what your roles are while people are out, and they, over the next two games, have, even though it's not been maybe what they were used to in that 15-game winning streak to start the year, have adjusted pretty well?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have a team that cares about each other, cares about winning, and I think you look, for instance, James not knowing if he was going to play or not, and then last minute he's a go. And LJ just had a huge game at West Virginia. He's back coming off the bench, and he could care less. Everyone wants to start, wants to play, but I mean, he whatever coach, and that's what it was. And I think across the board, everyone's either stepped up when they need to step up or sacrificed when they needed to sacrifice. And that's what great teams do, is they put others first.
You know, shooters shoot. The guys who are great corners are going to get beat on a touchdown on occasion. Quarterbacks are going to throw interception. Kickers are going to miss kicks. But the game in which Adam Flagler and how he has bounced back from the game at home when he struggled, he started to get a couple of rolls off the rim, a bounce, a touch off the glass. Isn't that that's why you just keep shooting if you're Adam Flagler?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, Steph Curry's probably the best shooter in recent time. And I think even last night when he 1 for 10 against Utah at one point or something, and there's games where people go 2 for 15, and that just happens. And it's kind of like baseball. I mean, you think about it, you're a Hall of Famer if you average 333, probably, right? And yep. that means only 1 out of 3 attempts are going well. So same thing with shooting. If you're a career 40% 3-point shooter, you're an unbelievable shooter. That means you're missing 6 out of 10. So the key is always, are you getting the right ones? And then how's your balance, your form, your rotation, your wrist snap, the fundamentals? If all that's good, you just keep shooting. But that's why at the same time, it's great to have. You can't win unless you got a deep team and you have multiple players capable of carrying the load defensively, offensively, rebounding wise. Because every game is not going to be your game. You're not going to be on your A game every game.
Coach, what was the key to kind of flipping the script in terms of turnovers from that first meeting? You guys had a boatload of turnovers, 26, I believe, but defensively, 16 steals against Oklahoma. What was the key to changing that around from the first go-round?
Well, I think we still had 17, which was too many, but not nearly as many live ball turnovers, and several of them came at the very end of the game when, like, if a shot clock violation at 2:30 in the game, that's not killing you. So, like, the right times, that's when you want to have them, and definitely not live ball turnovers. And I think we're getting better just playing and getting more familiar with each other. And then also just the defenses. I mean, they're so good in the Big 12. I saw Fran Frischella tweeted the Ken Palm analytics from our league today, and aren't we like at an 18, and the next highest league's a 15? I mean, it's not even close. So when you're playing against top defenses night in and night out, I mean, there's a reason they're a top 30 defense. They're good.
Do you kind of have to go into games knowing that, like, if you get to 80 points or 85, it's just because you just gotten really hot? Because even the bottom rung of the league, is built around defense right now.
Well, definitely you're trying to score as many as you can, and hopefully you can get to 80 at the same time. There's so much that goes into that, and what I mean by that is pace of play. If the other team is working at 25, 30 seconds, I mean, the games are going to be in the 60s rather than in the 70s and 80s. And you're not having a top defense if you give up transition buckets. And that means you're probably not turning it over as much, and you're probably not taking bad shots. So when you get separation in this league, enjoy it, because it's only going to happen one or two or three nights. And the other thing with that, I think you look at our team last year, for instance, we were able to get separation several times because I think you had a couple teams that were younger. And this year, you don't seem to have that youth, because you have teams that basically brought in fifth year, fourth year, third year, 6-year guys. So you have a lot of experienced players that just don't give up and don't get rattled. And then on top of that, now throw the fans in. And I think that's huge, because if you don't have the fans, especially at home, you get down like Oklahoma State. We were playing, as you know, not very well and got down big, but our fans helped us get back in it, because once you do something well, they give you that inspiration and motivation to keep going and persevering and fighting through things. So, I mean, it's hard to bury a team on the road as well.
Scott, you have this behind the scenes with ESPN Plus, and obviously the documentary that came out the last 2 weeks has got nothing but rave reviews as well. But the documentary, or the series, when there are people there, everything you're doing, is that at times a distraction, or have you gotten used to it because you get covered so well?
Well, I think the answer to both questions would be yes, it can be a distraction at times. But one, the film crew we have, TL and her group, are true professionals.
Yep.
And I mean, they are so easy to get along with and do such a great job. They've made that something that's been a blessing. Number two, with that, I think if you're a program that's got stuff to hide, you're obviously not wanting people around all the time. Mm-hmm. But like with our guys, it's just such a great opportunity for them to be role models and have people get a chance to know them. I know we have some features coming up with our different players in the next couple of weeks, and I know they're great role models, and it's going to be something where I know they have a chance to help influence the younger generation on just what to achieve, what to set goals for, how to go about it, how to be a good person all around.
Scott, got Kansas State coming up. They had the tough loss to Kansas, but had a couple of big wins. Before that, also got the SEC Challenge coming up later this week. Looking ahead to, obviously, tomorrow is what matters most important, but K-State and then the SEC Challenge. Your thoughts on this week of games?
Well, let's start with K-State. And, I mean, they've had everybody together for 3 games, and in those 3 games, they beat Texas Tech, they beat Texas, and then they very easily could have beat Kansas. I mean, so they're as good as anybody in the league, and if they had everybody healthy all year long, they're probably a top 20 team. So, I mean, those are 3 pretty good games, and 2-1, and could have very easily been 3-0. And the games they lost before that, when they weren't whole with so many people out, were 2 points and 3 points and 3 points. So, and one was 13. But I mean, that's again, just the top to bottom in our league. There's no easy game. So we know we got to be on our A game. The good thing is when we go over scout and we show clips of the other team, our guys see how good they are and understand how good they are, and makes it a little easier to know they'll be fired up and ready to go. And weekday games are tough for, I know, students and fans and everybody, and that's why they're so critical. If you watch a game or affect it, and as many students and Baylor fans that can affect it, we need you. Then SEC challenge, that's a big deal to us. We've taken challenges very serious, and I know we have a great opponent. I know they have a great home court atmosphere, and we're excited to represent the Big 12.
But do they have Scott Drew in their bear pit? How much fun was that? Bill Fennelly said it yesterday. He coached your sister, I believe, but he was talking and he tried to recruit Nikki to Toledo. How much fun? You guys, you and all your staff had a great time, it appears.
Well, Coach Finley's a family friend, unbelievable coach. Did a great job with my sister and Nikki, and her family's very close with him as well. And he didn't know we were going in the bear pit, and so I had to make sure early on in warm-ups when I started the old sit-down coach, and he looked up like, who's heckling me? That was I did enjoy that part, but anyway, he runs a first-class program, and I know Nikki thinks very highly of him too. So we're usually cheering for him as long as he's not playing Baylor, and obviously Coach Tang loved talking to the officials and not having to worry about a technical, so he was in heaven too. But the staff, we enjoy cheering on one another, and as you know, during season you're just so busy. Otherwise, you go to a lot more games, but you're always prepping and getting ready. And it was great that we could spend a little time and have fun and help support them. And it was a great game for the women.
Is that cathartic to get to yell when you don't normally?
Well, you know what? You let out some of that Big 12 frustration.
I love it. Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Always enjoy anytime we get you on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
you. Thanks for the question.
Scott Drew, Baylor men's basketball coach.